Welcome. We're going to be looking at expressions and formulas in these first set of videos. And in this particular video, we're going to be looking at order of operations. In order to talk about order of operations, I first want to talk about variables. A variable is a letter or a symbol that's used to represent a number that may change. So a variable can be something like x, or it can be a Greek letter like delta or sigma. We have a lot of different variables that we're going to be looking at this year. X will be our most common variable, but variables can take on different values and they can have different symbols. So this set of videos is looking at order of operations. You may be familiar with PEMDAS. PEMDAS is a trick a lot of people use to remember the order of operations. And let's go through what each of those letters stands for. P in PEMDAS stands for parentheses. The first thing you want to work with are parentheses. You want to go through you want to handle whatever is inside parentheses first before you do anything else. So P is for parentheses. The next thing you want to work on with PEMDAS is the E, which stands for exponents. Once we've handled what's inside the parentheses, we then want to deal with exponents. The M and the D go together. This is multiplication and division. You want to perform your multiplication and division working from left to right. This really could be division first, then multiplication, depending on which is the most left operation. And the last is addition and subtraction. Similar to multiplication and division, these can be interchanged. We're working from left to right through our problems. Addition and subtraction, whichever one comes first, left to right, is what we'll do. So this is PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. Okay, so now that we know what PEMDAS is, we are going to look at an example. So the first example we are going to look at is evaluate this expression, m plus p minus 1, the quantity squared, if m is equal to 3 and p is equal to negative 4. Evaluate means substitute in for the variables and simplify. Simplify means write it in as simple a form as possible. In terms of numbers, or when we're evaluating, the simplify step means we want to try to write it as one number. So the first thing I'm going to do here is take each of my variables, and everywhere that I see an m in my expression, this is an algebraic expression, it's a combination of numbers and variables. I am going to, everywhere I see m, I'm going to substitute in 3. So I have an m here. I'm going to replace m with 3. Everywhere I see p in my algebraic expression, I am going to replace it with negative 4. So there's just a p here. So this algebraic expression becomes 3 plus negative 4 minus 1, the quantity squared. Now it's time for us to work through PEMDAS to simplify this and write it as one number. So I start out and I work with my parentheses. So I go inside my parentheses and I'm then going to kind of work through MDIS inside my parentheses. There's no exponents inside my parentheses. There's no multiplication or division inside my parentheses, but there is addition and subtraction inside my parentheses. So I am going to subtract negative 1 from negative 4. Negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. So I will replace negative 4 minus 1 with negative 5. So I have now finished parentheses. I'm going to move on and handle any exponents I have. I have an exponent on negative 5, and that means I am squaring negative 5, or I'm multiplying negative 5 by itself. So negative 5 times negative 5 is negative times negative gives me a positive. 5 times 5 is 25. So the quantity negative 5 squared, I will replace with 25. We need to have caution here. The quantity negative 5 squared is positive 25. But if I had negative 5 squared written like this, only 5 is being squared. So negative would just be here, and 5 squared is 25. So this would be negative 25. With the parentheses, as they are here, this is positive 25. If there were no parentheses, this would be negative 25. This is not what we want. That's not what's being expressed here. So we want to make sure that what we solve is what's expressed. Now that I've handled my exponents, I want to look for any multiplication and division. There is none. So I will move on to addition and subtraction. I have 3 plus 25 working from left to right. 3 plus 25 is 28, and that is my final answer. Check back in the next video where we'll go through some more complicated examples.